Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on your community station in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you. Also, those joining us through our different online affiliates around the world. We're glad to have all of you with us as well. I'm really excited about our next guest being on with us because he's not only been an example for other people as to what's possible, but really he's been able to show by his own life not only what we can achieve, but also the impact we can have on others. We're excited to welcome speaker and author Jay Barnett to our program today. We're going to talk to Jay not only about his own journey, but also what it's been like for him to learn from others and now to be able to mentor others, not only in person, but also through his books as well. The other great thing that you probably know already with Jay, if you follow him online, is that he's all about empowerment. So we'll talk to him about that message and what it's been like for him to share that, as well as how you all can stay connected with him as well. Jay, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Hey, how you doing, Cyrus? Thank you for having me on, brother.
Hey, man, glad to do it. I mean, a lot of great things for us to talk about, and I think really your whole message is about that, about not only embracing our own personal greatness, but also helping other people to see that in themselves. Jay, what has that been like for you, to not only to realize that you are able to make an impact on other people, but also to be able to show them what's possible for them?
Well, most definitely, Cyrus. It's been a journey, and one of the things that I have enjoyed about this journey is the many ups and downs and the many unexpected uncertainties that you have, trying things that doesn't work, having people on your team that, you learn that's not as supportive. But what has all taught me is that no matter what has happened, who has left, to stay focused on the mission. And my mission has always been to empower our youth, to help them to understand that, they are kings and queens. And my method behind that is allowing them, giving them the opportunity to allow themselves to see that they are the rulers of their choices and their decisions. And, I grew up in Mississippi in the Delta. My father is still pastoring, and he and my mother divorced when I was 13. And so a lot of my issues that I battled with as an adult started from, when I was a kid or a teenager and an adolescent. And from my parents' divorce, I had a lot of brokenness, depression, and I didn't have what I wanted from my father at the time. So to fast forward where I am now is I am just giving kids and even adults the opportunity that I didn't have to get to gain the knowledge and the insight just on who they are, because a lot of what we don't get to experience in our life is based upon what we don't know, and many of us don't know who we are.
Right. I think that is so true. And I think, the other thing about what you mentioned, Jay, by sharing that personal experience is that, it could be so easy for any of us when we're going through something, whether it's with family or any other situation, to go inward. You, though, have done the opposite. You've gone outward and gone out of your way to make sure that other people don't have to feel the way that you felt and don't have to feel as though all is lost. Why is that aspect so important for you?
Man, it's been so important for me because what it has given me, Cyrus, is what I found is great fulfillment. It's where I identified my purpose through my greatest struggles and pain of feeling abandonment, neglected, and so going through that great ordeal and really discovering that, I had to learn how to see beyond my circumstance. And so many times as people, our circumstance is what we're dealing with. And it is real. It is our truth. But we also have the power to redirect and change the narrative. And I think once I began to see that I had the power to change the narrative, I began to want to empower and really give others insight on how to tap into that purpose and tap into that potential inside of their pain. Because many of us, man, we allow our pain to dictate how we maneuver in life, how we respond, and also it determines, where we're going. And when I began to see that I had the power to change all of that, I said to myself, man, I cannot, keep this. I really want to change, the world within my reach. and allow them to see that they had the same power.
Right. I think that is the big thing. Now, one of the things I noticed when I was prepping for your segment, and it happened some 2 years ago for you now, Jay, and you brought it up again this year, that Black Enterprise recognizing you as the inspirer. Could you have imagined some 10 years ago that would be how people would look at you as a source of inspiration?
Oh, man. if man, Cyrus, I would laugh at you if you told me 10 years ago that I would be in a Black Enterprise magazine, and even looked at as someone as an influencer. It was a couple of of course 10 years ago, pursuing my professional football career, and having an opportunity and making it to the NFL, and it not turning out the way that I expected, and attempting suicide after the failed opportunity, not realizing once again who I was, because football was everything. And of course, looking back 10 years, I'm so grateful to God that it was a failed attempt, because I would have missed out on all of the people that I've touched, all of the things that I've been able to do, and the places I've been able to travel with my message. So, to look back on this journey, even just 10 years ago, and to see how far I have come, and, growing up in Mississippi, I mean, when you saw Black Enterprise magazine, it was one of the prestigious magazines in our times, and it still is in the Black community. So to be recognized by such, and a group and a media and just social outlet, man, it's just truly humble.
Right. I think that's the thing. And as you said, I mean, being in the public eye is nothing new to you, Jay, but being able to, I mean, now you look around, and it was funny, and I have to thank Jen Traeger for setting up this conversation with us for today, because when he mentioned you, I mean, of course, I think we've all seen your memes somewhere. I mean, I see them all the time on Instagram. I mean, have you gotten used to that?
Yeah.
I mean, that you now, I mean, your face, who you are, is now able to share these messages, and when people see your face, they think of these messages about what it means to be empowered, what it means to be encouraged, and what it means to embrace, their inner king or queen.
Man, to be honest, it is still surreal. It's funny you asked me that, because I was having a conversation with my father a couple of nights ago, and I mended a relationship that we we never had, and I wanted to work on that, and that was something that he mentioned to me, that he still lives in Mississippi, and he mentioned how people always come up to him, and how they follow me, and they love my message, and they keep up with everything, and and it's just even for him to tell me how many people come up to him and say, hey man, your son is doing this, and your son is inspiration. It's just surreal, because I think what that looked like for me, would be that he would be sitting in the stands, as far as cheering me on from the football perspective. But I have such a great appreciation for it when people recognize my message or recognize me, because now I'm recognized for more than just being part of entertainment on Saturday or Sunday. Now I'm recognized for, my mind and my thoughts, and, being able to, articulate, different things that people think about. And so, and from a thought-provoking perspective, and inspire, man. It's all so humbling, and just every day, man. It's still, I always wake up with such a spirit of gratitude, because I know that had I not had God on my side, that this could have easily been, I would have had pictures of R.I.P. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm just grateful.
Yeah. You mentioned your father a couple times here. I want to talk more about actually a photo you posted this summer, and talk about that relationship and how it's helped you and helping to inspire other young men, Jay. But I want to first say, for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. We're excited to welcome Jay Barnett to our program. If you all follow him online, you know him as @KingJBarnett. We've been talking with him not only about what it's been like for him to be a source of inspiration, but also to be able to realize his own personal power, and now to be able to share that with others. He's an author as well as speaker. We're going to remind you all how you can stay connected with him and support his work a little bit later. On June 19th of this year, Jay, you posted a photo of your dad and you, and then you ended the caption by saying, "I am my father's son." I mean, talk to us about that because, I mean, you know, for a lot of the young men that you're able to talk to and mentor, unfortunately, they don't have that father in their life to be there for them. What is it like for you to show them that we kind of all are kind of supposed to be there for these young men and to allow them to know what they can become?
You know, Cyrus, that post, man, was such a it was such a just a very touching and a very just you know, authentic post that I became very transparent with, you know, my followers and with audience. And one of the things is that, you know, my biggest thing getting over the hurdle of unforgiveness. You know, I had learned to just kind of move along in life, just kind of get along with everything. And, you know, I didn't really do the work on myself in order to mend the relationship with my father, and not understanding that he did the best that he could with what he knew. And, you know, and many times as our parents, they only give us what their parents gave them. And so just to be able to mend our relationship and to wholeheartedly forgive my father was just like dropping a 100-pound weight vest, and to allow him to forgive himself. And so my message is to these young men is that many may not get the opportunity to do what I did, to speak to their father and have a conversation about the relationship that you wanted to have with them. But one of the things that it's taught me is that so many times as we are, you know, navigating through life, you know, the things that we want to happen in relationships that we would like to have, that may not happen. You may not get an apology. It is your responsibility to make it right from your side of it. And so, and how I made it right was, you know, going to my father, having a conversation. But from another perspective, I've made it right by mentoring other men, giving them what I wanted as a young boy. So it's just so many different elements to that photo, to, you know, speaking about my truth with that, and just really helping our men to overcome a lot of the brokenness that you continue to see that is perpetuated through our behavior, especially in the black community.
Right. And speaking of that, let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about Hello King, Claim Your Throne. It's a book that's available through our friends at Amazon.com. It's a book I see you talking about quite a bit online, Jay, as well, of course, your book, you know, for the ladies as well. You know, I think, you know, there's a lot that we can kind of talk about, but I want to, first of all, begin with personal responsibility. That seems to be the big thing that you first realized for yourself is your own responsibility, right, your own role in life, and then being able to project from there. How important has that message been for you to share that, yes, I mean, there are a lot of things that go on around us, but to make sure that we're not adding to the problems that we are facing?
Well, you know, it's been very big because, you know, my my objective, Cyrus, is to really get, especially teenagers and adults when I'm speaking to them, is to become advocates for themselves. Because so many times we can attach labels, and we can attach circumstance, we can attach certain experience that we've had throughout our lives, and we can allow that to be what our life becomes. And I think once you understand that you are personally responsible for how your life goes and how your life, it allows you to remove the excuses. It allows you to remove everyone that did it, everyone that wasn't there. And that's not to dismiss them or dismiss what has happened or to be insensitive, but it's to allow you to see beyond it, to know that there's still life after whatever has happened. If you take the responsibility to say, yes, it did happen, he or she did do that, but regardless, I still have purpose, God still has a plan for my life, and I still have the opportunity to change my narrative. And so I think that is what is so essential to what, you know, I want to project, you know, when talking about personal responsibility.
Yeah. And I think it's so important, and it's something that you have learned yourself, quite obviously, Jay. And because even when the other thing that you mentioned, even though you are a mentor for others, you of course have been able to have your own mentors as well that have been there to kind of help to lead the way. Yeah, and to that end, of course, Alfred A. Edmund Jr., who actually wrote the foreword to that book I mentioned, Hello King, Claim Your Throne, said some great points in there about what it means to be a king. I think, so many times we see that being thrown around, especially online. Everyone becomes everything, it seems like, online.
Right, exactly.
But I think the responsibility of it, I think that is the big thing for me that I took away when I was reading this, is that the responsibility that comes with being over anything, being over your territory, being able to be a leader. I mean, talk to us about that, because I want to actually read a bit of what he wrote and then have you mention your thoughts. He wrote this in the foreword to the book: to become a king is to prove worthy of ruling that most valuable and hotly contested of territories, ourselves, as defined by the boundaries of our own minds, emotions, beliefs, choices, and behaviors. When we conquer ourselves, we become rulers of our universe, more than worthy of both crown and throne, as well as responsibility for the care, protection, and leadership of those in relationship with us. When you read those words, I mean, what has it been like for you to not only to be able to live that for yourself, Jay, but also project that?
I mean, it's you know what? It's almost like somebody hit the switch, the light switch. And it's like all of a sudden, even just reading that from Alfred, and I knew he was writing a forward based off of what I had written, and just reading that, man, it was just like, boom, an aha moment. Like, that's it. Once you realize that being a king is a code of conduct. It's not just a saying, and it's not just a catchphrase or, something that's trendy that you just pick up today.
Jay, you've been able to go from not only to be able to empowering young men the way that you have been, in that book, but also to be able to empower women as well. I mean, the other thing I noticed when it comes to social media in particular, you talk about relationships quite a bit. And I think the weight is not always easy for people, but I think also the idea of quality over quantity is something, especially for us guys, we have to be able to better appreciate. I thought about when I was prepping for your segment that you really show guys in particular the importance of not just looking for the right person, the right queen, but making sure that they are the right person as well. Talk to us about why that dynamic has been so important for you to talk about.
Well, it's one of the things is that I'm so transparent about my past experience. I've been engaged twice. Good people, but the wrong people for me. And what I've learned through my experience and through both of those situations is that as a man, once you understand who you are, what God has given you, the vision He's shown you, you have to be attached to the right person. And it has to be someone who is a kingdom builder within themselves and have a mission for their own life. And it has to be someone who understands that the objective is to grow and do purpose. And once you understand that you guys can do purpose together, now you can have love manifested through it. And so many people get together based off love. And to be honest, Cyrus, love isn't enough, because there will be a time where the love will be iffy and the love will be up and down. So when you have purpose, and if love is on a low, you're not going to have the propensity to leave and to walk away, because you understand that there's a greater purpose that's bigger than the both of you, and it's bigger than you. And so I think that's important, and I try to express that because I read something in a book a long time ago that a mentor of mine gave me years ago. I'm sure it, pretty familiar with the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And one of the things he talked about is that what's important to a man to to travel or to get to his destination in life is the mate that he chooses. Is one of the most important decisions that he's going to make. And so you want somebody that's going to be supportive. You want someone that is ambitious and that is driven within themselves. But also you want someone that understands that it's bigger than the both of you. And if you both can change lives through what you do, or even if it's just through a company, because everybody's not going to be an entrepreneur, everybody's not going to be a speaker. Whatever it is that you do, is love what you do, find purpose in what you're doing, so we both can be equally supportive of one another, where there's no competition, because we're not competing and we're not completing each other. We're living a full life individually but collectively, because through marriage you become one union. And so I think that is always what I want to convey to the men, because with social media, you can go on there all day and find beautiful, attractive women. But for me, is that the quality is what is she able to bring to the table that would add to you, as a man, and to what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think that is the big thing. And, again, that goes to something I mentioned to you before we began this segment, Jay, and that is the importance in letting our actions speak for us. You've been talking about that a lot. We know that there are a lot of areas right now that are hurting, not only because of the storms that are going on, but just because of circumstances, things that are swirling around them. You've talked a lot about this recently, about the importance of less talk, more action. Do you think that kind of is the blueprint that has helped you get to where you are?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. It's been a blueprint that I've learned from football and from my high school coaches. And, I was a kid who was very emotional, driven off of my actions and my responses. And so my coach, when he saw that I had some talent and, saw that I was an athletic kid and, I was pretty, and I wouldn't say that I was boastful, but, it's like kid who knows that he's got the juice. And, you kind of talking, while you're working. But, my coach, I didn't understand it, until I got older. But he was so big off of, work in silence and let the results, be, be your voice. And that's right. One of the things that I have done, or tried to do throughout my career is to be solid, even on the things that I work on and like with programs and, when I'm writing books, I don't announce that, hey, guys, getting ready to go back in the lab, write a book, because, I don't need the validation. I've already been validated because I have the purpose. I have the vision. So that's my validation. And so for me, it's been about delivering. It's finishing. One of the things is like I'm in school. I've been in school for the past 2.5 years getting my master's in family therapy. And, the girl that I date, my girlfriend, we talk about this all the time. And, she says, man, you're so big on finishing. I said, listen, man, until you taste the finish, until you taste what finishing is and get that taste, man, like you will never appreciate anything. You got to taste finishing, and you got to finish and complete something. And so no matter if I'm on the road, no matter if I'm have a program going on, if I got homework and I know it's due Sunday, I get it done, Yeah. But I don't have to go on social media, hey, guys, I just completed another class, because for me, you know what I mean? So for me, right, it's like you'll see the announcement when I'm saying getting ready to graduate. You know what I mean? I'm picking up my cap and gown. And so, so many people, man, it's just like, and what happened is that, the more you allow people to see what you're doing, the more power you give them to attack what you're doing silently. And so I just have become an advocate, man, for work in silence. Let your results, your efforts, and everything else speak for itself.
Right. And I think that's a big lesson all of us can benefit from, Jay. I think no matter what our profession might be or what work that we're involved in. Again, everyone, Jay Barnett has been our guest. Great conversation with you, Jay. You know him, of course, online as King Jay Barnett. We've been talking with him not only about the work that he's been able to do on his own life, but also now how he's able to extend that further to be able to help to inspire young queens as well as young kings about their own personal greatness, what they can accomplish, but also their own personal responsibilities. He's done this not only through speaking, but also through his books, and also using the power of social media to be able to literally touch people around the world. So, Jay, let our audience know, for those who are not connected with you already, let them know the best way to be able to connect with you and stay posted on everything going on with you.
Yes, you can connect with me on Instagram, King J Barnett, Twitter, King J Barnett, Facebook, King Jay Barnett. All of my social media handles are the same. And also we have a website of the programs that we travel with in schools and different group homes, and that web address is webuildprojects.org. And again, that is webuildprojects.org. And so on our Instagram, if you're on there, you can send an email if you want to inquire about me speaking at your school, your church, or your event. And so reach out to us, and we would love to come out and change the lives of those that are attending.
All right. Well, Jay, man, congratulations to you on all the great things you've been able to accomplish. I know it's only beginning for you, and a lot of more great things are coming. And, look, it goes without saying, man, you're welcome back here anytime. Looking forward to speaking with you again.
Awesome, man. Thank you, Cyrus.
Hey, man, you're more than welcome. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.